Okay, we'll start out with that in a moment. Usually the flag's over there.
Right.
Wonder why it's not there.
In between. Almost there.
I don't know.
Only reason is because I did this.
Okay. It's great to see so many people here tonight.
Yeah.
Friendly faces. Looking forward to it.
That's the last one to do
Yes,
this
go
one.
ahead.
Nice sticker.
Thank you.
Yes.
How was the line?
What's that?
I said, how bad was the line?
Probably like
Okay.
10 or 15 minutes.
That's not
That was about what it was. I was there at 4:45. Same thing.
I like to see a line.
Yeah,
I think lots of people are voting.
I agree.
All right. Stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Are there any adjustments to the agenda?
None.
We'll first consider the minutes from the October 4th meeting.
They should be included in your packet, and barring any errors or omission, I would recommend approval as written.
Second.
All right, all in favor? Okay. All right. We have a public comment period, so if anybody has anything they want to share from our public, anybody have any comments or things they want to bring up?
I have a question. On the new, old business and new business, and I sat in on a number of meetings. Is there a point upon review when anyone can look over some of the things? For example, I'm looking at the new business, you're gonna be talking about something to do with homeschooling.
Yep.
Participation programs and things like that. Is there a point after you guys have read these, or do they become public?
They're all public, absolutely. I've got the binders in my office. There's also one typically in the main office, and if somebody reaches out and is looking for one, I can either show it to them or get them a copy or whatever, yeah.
Cool.
Yep, all of those, anytime.
Great. Anybody else? Okay, well, we'll have a chance at the end of the meeting as well, but we can move on to something special that I think we have, a little presentation tonight.
Okay, so we have representation from girls soccer and cross country, and we're going to have boys soccer in here.
It went boys basketball.
Oh,
What's
okay.
that?
It's 7:02. They're done.
They're done. Just to talk a little bit about their season, maybe share some highlights, maybe share some things that they've learned, and then also the cross country coach, Anna Blanchard, could not be here tonight, but she did a write-up that she'd like for me to read. So I was going to read that too at the end. So I don't know what this Asher, Capri, Paige, Jenna, who wants to start? Asher, do you want to talk about cross country? Do you want to come?
Go ahead, you got this.
Capri's fine, I think. She's ready to roll. You're not on.
Is it on now?
Yes.
Okay. One of the things that helped us a lot with cross country was all of our team. We would always work together and help each other. We would never put each other down. We'd always pick each other up, and our coach would always help us and encourage us to keep going. And I think something really cool was that the entire season, everyone improved their times, and everyone kept doing their best every meet. And I think that's pretty cool that everyone improved their times.
Yeah, the teamwork really helps, but another thing is like the competition's cool too. Like being able to work as a team and try to beat like their times too, but it's also really cool to beat your own time and your old time. Like last year I did cross country, and so I was able to beat my old times, and
I think you beat a lot of people's time, right?
Yeah.
Is that what I heard?
Yeah. And the ribbons are cool too, because like when you place in the top 10 in your league, when you race against all the 5 teams at that race, it's pretty cool to get first.
I bet it is.
But yeah. And like Asher said, working with the team, we came from these people that like we didn't really meet like in times past, and now we all came together like not family members, but like really close and able to help each other out. So yeah.
Now you guys need to get a few more kids to
Yeah.
spread the word.
Well, we had a small team, but
Big
we got really big good scores, and
Yeah, that's awesome.
Fantastic.
that helped. Is there anything else you want to say?
Does anybody else have questions for cross country?
Great job, guys.
All right, so we have Paige and McKenna representing soccer, girls soccer.
We got a trophy and they didn't. I actually don't know what to say. Didn't prepare for this at all. I forgot this was happening tonight. Soccer was an amazing time, and it was an important time for all of us. It was my last year and my very first year as captain of the team, and it was an amazing opportunity for me to learn how to lead a team. And we all had amazing sportsmanship and had an incredible season. Everybody put in the top effort, and you could see the change from beginning of the season all the way up to last. And we won, so that obviously we did kind of well. We must have done something right. It's sad that only 2 of us could be here today, but many others had. Everybody had an amazing year. There were quite a few new people. Well, no, there were a few. Yeah, there were quite a few new people, and you could see from when they started, everybody in the team just tried to help pick them up and have a great time and just have a fun time, hang out.
I think the sportsmanship was really good this year.
It really was. Everybody just tried to pick everybody up. There's no negativity, and if there was, somebody would try and fix that, bring them up, make their mood a little bit better. Just, it was a fun time.
Does anybody have questions for girls soccer?
Great job.
And now we have our voluntold boys soccer, Simon, Jacob, and Keegan.
Oh, that's great. You go, Aiden. I will hold it for him.
I really like this soccer season because there's so many new kids that really learn to play soccer and learn to love it. I really liked that everyone on the team did end up learning a ton, and everyone worked together well. Simon, do you have anything to say?
We had a few 5th graders. We had one that started like last year, championship, Aldenanius. He was a starter, just like Logan. I don't know how many goals Logan had this year. He had a lot. And that's because we let 5th graders play on the team. Good, Jacob. Jacob was the goalkeeper. He watched everything.
Nope. Pick one thing you liked.
I like the soccer season.
Man of many words.
We had to run.
Are there any questions for the boys soccer?
What happened to him?
Not soccer related.
Yeah.
I'll let him tell you that.
You got this, Hayden.
It's not soccer.
Hayden Pepin, come over here so I can fix your crutches. You're too short. Come here.
Couldn't help it. Is that the season? Do you want it? Good.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right.
So,
So I had a letter to read from Coach Janet Blanchard. She's the cross country coach. It's kind of lengthy, so please bear with me. But she had a lot of great things to say. So these are Janet Blanchard's words. She says, "Thank you to all the people who make this happen. Mr. Walton for caring for the course, the people who arrange for the timing, snacks, scheduling, photos, and more. I know there were more people making this happen than some would think. It's appreciated. This was an unusual cross-country season. I've had 30-plus student athletes some years, and this year we were 5. This was a trend across the league as schools with typically large teams had significantly lower numbers. I do not know if there has been any conversation about not continuing the sport, but if there was, I'm so grateful that you didn't discontinue it. Let me tell you about our season. We had 5 athletes, different grades, genders, students you wouldn't pick and think these kids are going to be an amazing team, but they did just that. The amount of encouragement, support, and friendly competition amongst this group is heartwarming and inspiring. Due to being small, we were able to take the van. We had amazing conversations and so much laughter on these rides. I've never had that experience with the team before, and it was a really enjoyable bonus in the season. Our students make connections with students from other schools. You'll hear kids cheering for others by name at meets." And she talks about me. "Mrs. Pelkey had not been to a meet before. She could tell you the best about her first meet, but she was surprised at how energetic and amazing they are. If you haven't been, you really should." And I do agree with that. "I wish there was a way to show teachers and parents how positive this sport is for building confidence, goal setting, making friendships, and perhaps finding a love for a sport they can participate in for years. Recruiting from inside the school would be very helpful. During the season, we keep track of both unofficial times where we would race on our own course and used each set of official meet results to chart achievement. We calculated pace per mile as different courses are different lengths. Discussed strengths, talked about logistics of each course. We trained specifically on our hills. Dumpster Hill, which is right behind us out this way, is famous among the runners in the league. We trained with parachutes, agility ladders, speed drills, and strength work. Each student knows how many seconds is their best time from the gate to the finish. Cross country is a sport of individual accomplishment. There's a team element. Teams can win. There are strategies involved in that, lots to learn. A surprising amount of math is involved. This year, without enough students to place, we shifted our focus to individual goals. My goodness, did they ever come through. We had 6 regular season meets, 1 invitational midseason, and the championships. In addition, Julia and Capri went to the airline invitational. At the airline, Capri ran well, taking a full minute off her time from Bucksport, which is the same length, and came in 28th. Julia also had a personal best time over that distance. In our first 8 meets, our athletes had 32 ribbons awarded. Capri Jonah took first place in all 8. Nick Slakowski and Asher Wall had the best placing of 4th and several top 10 finishes. Julia had multiple top 10 finishes as well. All 5, 100% of the team, ran a personal best time at our championship. Warren specifically wanted to do cross country to get stronger and improve his endurance with the goal of making the basketball team. At the banquet, Warren told me he made the team. So that is Coach Janet Blanchard's words, and it really encapsulates cross country as well. So thank you to soccer, girls soccer, boys soccer has already left. Thank you, cross country, for representing and telling us a little bit about your season.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. That was great.
Thank you, guys.
Beauty of living across the road, they can escape.
Yeah, I hope they look both ways.
Have a good night.
Well, I was just saying, deer might get them.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good season.
Absolutely.
All right, so moving on, we've got our old business, some policies that we've got. Second reading?
This, all 4 policies you voted through last time with no changes. As a reminder, the key change there was the ethnic hair piece that was added as being a protected class. I can go through any of them you wish, but my recommendation is that you approve them again, and that was based on your reading last time.
I'll second that.
All in favor? All right. Next thing is student count.
Yep, so our official student count, as we've talked about before, is set in October. my office will spend time on all three schools, going through and verifying high school tuition, cleaning up any of the data stuff, because it's the one time that our data system goes into the state, and then that's what your subsidy is based on, and your student count and your poverty rate and all that. In October, even though people will move in or out between here and the end of the year, that's the official count for the state. So that's important for a few reasons. We talk about numbers here, we talk about numbers at high school, because as you know, high school tuition sets a large part of our budget at this point. Numbers here, we are up to 361 from 342, so it's an increase of 19. Our socioeconomic, or our free and reduced, is also up 19 to 139 students. That's K-12. Special education stayed even at 86. Our pre-K jumped 12 from 20 to 32. And our 9-12 population dropped 26 to 219 from 245. And this is what you're seeing as we talked about those 4 large grades going to high school. Now the first grade is graduated out, and so we'll have, if you think about it this way, 2 classes per grade going in with 3 classes per grade going out. And it's usually about a difference of about 20 students. That should be a good, so we're in a good position overall, depending whatever else happens with the economy. We're in a good condition overall right now. As far as numbers here being stable and actually increasing, the numbers at high school decreasing. Any questions on that?
I guess did we have any kids that had opted not to send kids to school last year that came back this year?
You mean like homeschool, them
Yeah.
kind of thing? We had a few, but there wasn't a huge influx. We've had a lot of move-ins,
Yeah.
honestly.
I
We
know
also
there's
had
a lot
quite
of-
an increase pre-K when we were doing the hybrid. Pre-K is only half day anyway.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
during
this year it's
that
full day.
particular year, we had very low numbers.
Okay.
And now that we're back to full-time, those have increased.
Okay.
You said 32 pre-K?
Yes.
So is that 2 classes then?
Yeah, 'cause it's half day, 16
Oh,
and
yeah, then
16.
half and half. I forgot that was Seemed like a lot
It
for a
is.
second.
No, it is. No, it is.
You ought to walk by. It is a lot.
It's fun. Yep. All right, thank you. Any questions about that? No? Okay. So moving on to new business?
Yep. So ADC, tobacco-free use, you should see in your packet. The addition is the electronic smoking device language. It's the policy that you already have, except that we've added, or they've added that piece to it for the electronic smoking. And it's treated the same as you would expect as a cigarette or any other form of tobacco. So I can answer any specific questions you have there, but that's really the policy that you have and the update to it.
So I should look through this more carefully. So this is more like tobacco. So not, because
Yes.
now there's all these pods, they're smoking marijuana in
Mhm.
these things.
That's covered under your
Yeah, the
drug-free, right?
Oh, okay, that's it.
We do have a separate policy for that.
Okay.
This is strictly
Just
tobacco,
smoking, okay.
yes. And that's just how the statutes are written, so that they're separated.
Okay.
And this is your first reading.
Yeah. So do we need a vote just to
Yes.
say the first reading and then we'll come back for second reading? Okay, so motion on the table to approve the first reading.
I'll second that.
All in favor? The next one.
Yep, the next one is ACAD, the hazing. That is also currently one you have. The piece that's been added is the second paragraph, again, through legislative change. And it's really what it's doing is not only further defining what hazing is, but it also incorporates that if it happens in school or out of school, it's irrelevant. It is still covered by this policy.
So I make a motion to, we just say accept the first reading?
Yep,
To
or approve it. doesn't-
approve the first reading of the ACAD hazing policy.
All in favor of that?
Yep, so IHBG and IHBGA are both around homeschooling, and I'll talk about them both at the same time if that works for you. So again, there are pieces here that have changed for the home. You have both of these policy currently. The legislative update is that with the first one, IHBG, used to be that you just needed written notice. Now that's been expanded that you also have to have proof of progress, and it's changed to compulsory age reflection, because if you remember, compulsory used to be 7 years old and now it's 6.
Can you say that one more time?
You used to have to go to school when you were 7, and
Oh.
now it's 6.
Oh, okay.
And so that changes when you have to file your homeschool notice.
Okay. So they have to start at the
Yep.
same age.
And they've expanded what you have to do to prove that you've made adequate yearly progress
I
academically.
was going to say, how do they?
Yeah. How do they do
So you can do that a few different ways. You can do it if you want to take an assessment from the MEA, but you can also do it by having somebody, I'm going to mess up the exact language of this, but somebody who's certified outside of school, do a portfolio review, and then submit a letter that they believe the child has made adequate progress. It's a portfolio, if you will.
So what happens if the child has not?
Well, I've never seen that
Okay.
for homeschool. But my guess would be that I don't know how they would hold the child back,
Yeah, or what?
but
They wouldn't tell
hopefully,
the parent they had to send them?
right,
somewhere
I
else?
think, no, they still have the right to homeschool. I would think that what it would hopefully mean is that they're gonna spend some time shoring up whatever that area was. If it was math, that they need more support and guidance in.
Yeah, is the evaluation mainly to help them figure out?
I think that's
how to
the,
better,
I think that's the intent of it.
yeah, educate, not
I
necessarily.
don't know how well it's used or not, because it varies so much, yeah. Okay. IHBGA, what's changed there is that we must allow, it used to be that we could allow, we must allow them to take the MEA assessment if they choose, they are not forced to. We must allow them to have access to special education services, and we must allow them to try out for sports. None of those things are functional changes here, even though that's not what the policy said, because we've always done that because it was in the best interest of the child anyways. What it does say overall now is must, not may, so there's no latitude in it. But functionally, we
So
have,
they also were able to take like art and music. And
but they've
is that
always been
still-
able to access,
Right. Is
Yeah.
that in the policy now, or
Yes.
that's still?
and we've always encouraged them to access that. because
Right.
How often does that happen? I mean,
That they take a class.
would they come in specifically just?
There
for
are
that?
some, I mean, it really depends on what they want. Like if they're looking for an art class, that may be one.
I think they should have two.
Yeah.
Two students that participate in services in school.
Yeah. And occasionally we have them do it at the high school level as well,
Mhm.
for the same reason.
That's available. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would take specific questions around that, but that's the adjustments to the policy that you currently have.
Do they have to participate in sports?
Yep. Yes. Yep. And at the high school level, I think most high schools have a policy there, and I don't know if they've changed this or not, that to participate in sports, they have to take one class at the high school to be affiliated with it. Because where we're school choice, it moves them down to the one.
I don't know of any that we have right now that are playing high school.
I know
We did.
BAPS has somebody, but it's not an Orrington
Yep.
student. but-
We did a few years ago, but they have since graduated. Other questions I can answer? Then I would recommend you approve those two.
I would motion to approve HBG and IHBGA.
I'll second that.
All in favor? All right. So I need a moving on to our reports, we have the principal's report.
Absolutely. You have my report as written, but I guess I had a lot to say that I forgot to include because I had a couple things that I want to add to it. First off, UTC, I didn't put this in my report, but prior to COVID, if you'll remember, our eighth graders would always go to UTC for a field trip, be able to explore some of the different programs, and they always had that opportunity. And that stopped. It's back. So our eighth graders are getting to go, I don't know, I think it's next week. They're going to UTC. So notification should have come home at some point in time. Our guidance counselor has arranged the whole thing. And I'm very excited to have that back. So that's exciting. The other thing is kind of fun. Last year, I received this random envelope with a little note in it from Linda, and help me with the last name. Colossi, who introduced herself to me as a prior teacher and coach at Center Drive many, many, many years ago. In fact, she has not seen the new part of the building. So she had sent a donation for us to help kids in need, whatnot, because she knew how hard things were. And she was a teacher, educator, and just loved our school. Well, this year I got a second letter from her around the same time. And I, of course, had responded last year and thanked her, whatnot. And she had said that she's been in touch with a lot of her old classmates, old students, and has started something that she wanted all of them to donate. And they sent $775 to our school. So they've all received thank you notes. And I thought what I would do is, if we could reflect it in the minutes, I will send her a copy of the minutes, just thanking her. And she's promised to come visit one of these days so that I can give her a tour of the new school. So I'm looking forward to that.
Is she local anymore, or she lives elsewhere?
She lives in the southern part of the state somewhere, I believe.
Yeah.
So she was a phys ed teacher here in the early 80s and a basketball coach here. I had her for phys ed and basketball both. And it would have been 82 to 85 around that time that she was here. Her picture's actually up there on the wall under the basketball team from that time frame.
So she reached out and 5 other people donated to this. So we've put it in a fund that we will help some of our kids in need, especially around the holidays and the winter season and things like that. So
Great.
yeah, it's very exciting. Other than that, any questions for me?
Guess not. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, moving on to assistant principal's report.
Okay, so the beginning of my letter to the school committee is really about the fall season that you just saw the presentation on. I want to echo a lot of the things that they said. The both soccer teams did have a lot of young players and new players on the team, and both teams had a brand new goalie this year. So, and it was really fun watching those goalies, how they learned and progressed through the season, as well as the whole team, how they gelled together. So that was really fantastic. You saw the girls' trophy. They were the B-Flight champions. So that was really exciting for them. And the boys were so close. They were only down by 1 goal at the end of that game. So also for B-Flight, really cool. In cross country, like they said, they all beat their personal time. So that was amazing. Capri, who was one of our presenters tonight, she had a perfect season. And that's a lot to be proud of. So every single race in our league race, she came in first. So that was really fun.
She smiles the whole time she runs.
Oh my gosh, she's great. Yep.
She's like,
I
don't know how
she knows she's going to win.
See her during cross country, but during track season, she always.
All right. Something new this year, Center Drive Schools partnered with White Sporting Goods, and we are doing online merchandise, school merchandise. And so that window is open right now. It's just a 2-week window. So that'll close November 16th, and I'm pretty excited about that. I'm also welcoming any feedback about it because this is my first time setting up an online store like that. So we might offer different options or maybe different designs. We'll see. It will happen again. My plan is in the spring and then again in the fall. So my my plan is 3 times a year at least. That's what we're going to start with, opening up these windows. It is not necessarily fan gear or athletic specific. It can be for anybody. So it's also for parents of very young kids who aren't in sports.
I looked
So
quick the other night. Were there sweatpants?
there are sweatpants on the
Okay.
website. Yes.
Somebody did not.
So to access that, an email went out to the newsletter group. So anybody who gets the newsletter through email would also get that. And it's also on the website. There's a link and a QR code on the athletic page of our school website. So that's pretty fun. NUIA testing is complete for the fall. The teachers are going to use that data to help inform their teaching for small group work and targeting individual goals. I really have to thank Wendy Stone and Andrew Ward for getting that going. That was, it's a big undertaking. The whole thing is online, and they had it going so smooth that the whole time I had to keep asking, is there something else I'm supposed to be doing? Because I felt like I was supposed to be a little bit more involved in it, but it was all taken care of. So that was pretty fantastic. PTG just had their November meeting prior to this meeting tonight, and they're going strong. They're planning their December kids holiday shop event. They have just come off of a very successful trunk or treat. Mrs. Johnson and students from the Sci-Fi Club helped with the haunted walk this year, as they always do. And they always appreciate volunteers. So any parents and or teachers that want to help, that's always appreciated. And that is it. Any questions for me? Okay.
Okay. Moving on to the People Services Director.
Hi, you have my report in your packet, and there were just 2 primary things I wanted to share with you this evening. The visits to the classroom, from my perspective, are going so well. I'm going into both the general ed classrooms as well as our special ed classrooms, and I'm seeing some amazing things taking place and getting to know all of the students, not just students that I would typically see. So that's a lot of fun for me. And then we're also focusing on special education literacy instruction. I'm trying to get a handle on all of the programs that we have here in the building and how they're being used so that we can better inform sending folks for trainings and whatnot. And so we're working on that right now. They're working on a survey of gathering all of their inventory and how they're using them. And we'll be meeting in December to review all of that. Can I answer any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Superintendent's report?
We have covered my report through the agenda with the exception of personnel, which we will do next. So unless you have specific questions for me, I'll submit it as written.
Any questions? Okay, so we can accept all those reports.
You don't have to vote.
And then for high school report, do you have anything, Brendan?
I don't. There was a meeting last night, but I wasn't able to attend, so
Okay.
try to get to the next one.
Thank you. Okay, so moving on to personnel.
Yep, so humanities advisor, which covers geography and spelling bee, I would nominate Jill Hunter.
A motion to accept the nomination.
A second.
Just to be clear, this is a teaching position or a
Just
stipend?
like a coach stipend position.
Did she
Sorry.
do it last year? Or who did it
No.
last year?
Did she?
She did.
Yes. Who do we have before?
Chandra Cody.
There we go. Yeah,
Um,
thank you. Too many years.
That's okay. Okay, so we have a motion to accept that. Did we get a second?
Seconded.
Oh, all in favor? Okay. So I think that's everything, no resignations or terminations?
No.
Hopefully. No executive session?
Nope.
And chance for any other questions or comments from public or the board?
So under personnel, I guess the only thing, Larry Ring did retire,
Right,
right? So is that, are we filling his position?
we
or-
filled his
Oh,
position.
filled. All right.
He's an AOS employee, though, so it's not on
Oh,
this
okay,
agenda.
that's fine. Who would we fill it with?
Ben Walton.
Oh, okay. It's exciting.
So then are we filling Ben's position? 'Cause he
We're
had one
working
too,
on it.
right?
Yeah, we're working on it.
Sounds like a lot of.
Is he us or is he AOS?
It'll be, Ben is AOS. We're
Well, he
moving to
now, sorry,
AOS,
that
right?
his position, sorry.
Yes.
Is that a CDS position?
His
Or is
old
that-
position is
yeah.
Orrington position.
Okay.
Yes, custodian.
All right, so I think we're good to adjourn. Unless anybody has anything else? Thank you, everybody.